Thinking about buying a franchise? Then the How to Buy a Franchise show is just for you. Here's your host, Dr. John Hayes.
Hi, I'm John Hayes. I'm the host of the How to Buy a Franchise show. We're at the International Franchise Expo. That means it's got to be June. It's 2017. It's Father's Day weekend. This expo always occurs the same weekend at the Javits Center in New York City. More than 100 countries send delegations to the IFE, and people come from all 50 states, everybody looking for the perfect franchise opportunity, and we hope they find it here. But if not, 2018 is not that far away, and you can go to ifeinfo.com and you get information about the 2018 show. But of course, in the meantime, you want to be looking at the interviews that I post on YouTube under the How to Buy a Franchise show channel. You'll find a lot of them there. Lots of people have found their perfect franchise by watching the interviews on my channel, reading blogs at howtobuyafranchise.com, and listening to my podcasts as well. So my guest today is Scott Milas. He's a Vice President of Franchise Development with Wayback Burgers. So, Scott, welcome to the program.
Glad to be here. It's always great to be in New York City.
It is great to be in New York. So, Wayback Burgers, what's that all about? I know it's a great burger franchise. Why do people want to buy a Wayback Burgers, and where are they developing, and how much does it cost? I got all these questions for you.
Well, I hope to be able to answer them for you.
I'm sure you will.
First of all, thank you very much for having us.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. But we started in 1991 as a roadside shack, 900 square feet outside of the University of Delaware. And John Carter, our founder, built it up to 13 stores, and in around 2008, a new partnership team came in, and in 2009 we sold those 13 stores and started franchising. Who do we have as franchisees? A majority of our franchisees are people who have had very little or no restaurant experience.
Interesting.
It's a lot easier to train on our side, no bad habits.
Yeah.
And these are people that have always wanted to get into the restaurant business, have had a passion, but didn't want to spend $1 million, $1.5 million, $2 million, empty the bank account. So what we did is kept the model small, 16 to 1,800 square feet, although we do have non-traditional opportunities, 800, 900 square feet, and made the turnkey price of about $350 all in. A couple of years ago, it was $300,000 on turnkey. So we've made it affordable for people to come in, not having to commit to multi-unit area development, start out with one store, see how they do, and grow from there. So then we have those types of people that have always wanted to do. And then we have the multi-brand operator. So we have the Subway, the Papa John's, the Little Caesars, some ex-Burger King people that have wanted to expand their portfolio and grow and diversify. And again, because we're affordable and you don't have to take a big chunk in one store at a time, so to speak. So that's the kind of prospects that we're drawing.
And how many franchisees do own more than one Wayback Burger?
35% of our franchisees own
so it's a smaller percent.
Right. They started out with a single store.
Okay. And a lot of people love the food industry. It's the largest sector in franchising overall, and they love burgers, as well as pizza and chicken, but burgers is right there at the top.
Yep.
And of course they can't afford a McDonald's, and they can't get a Burger King, and they can't get a Wendy's, and so there are lots of options for them, and Wayback has been one for going way back now, so to speak.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So this is a way for people, and I think you've explained it very well, that if you don't want to commit to opening 10 or 20, and you want to open one, to see how you'll do in the food industry. It's not an easy industry. Hospitality, food service, you work long hours, hard hours, and people need to know that going in.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
We do not require owner-operator, so if someone wanted to come in and hire a manager or assistant manager to help them run their store, we encourage that. We're not necessarily looking for our franchisees to be there 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. That'll get old fast, especially in food.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. The restaurant industry is not hard work, it's just long work.
Yeah.
And so we've made it really easy for people with our systems. Our restaurants are very simple to run, typically 5 people during peak times. A lot of proprietary systems as far as our fresh beef. Our beef is always fresh, never frozen. Comes in pre-pucked form already, so there's no rolling of beef. So a lot of different systems proprietary systems that make it easy for people to get into the food industry if they've never been.
Okay. Is it difficult for the franchisees to hire the help?
There's always a challenge. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
Right.
Part-time, hourly wages. I mean, there's a challenge. We're seeing a growing market for seniors. And seniors, they love to work. They love to be around people. They love talking.
Good employees.
There's a challenge, but if you it's like anything else. You treat people fairly and treat them right, then they're going to stay.
Yeah. So, how many franchisees now total do you have?
We have 145 stores thereabout opened, operating in 27 states, and remarkably, we have another 450 stores in development worldwide. Yeah, we're in 35 countries, so.
Okay, and the number of franchisees, individual owners that you have, how many?
Probably somewhere around 70 to 75 separate franchisees.
Yeah, and what's their number one issue? What do they call to complain about?
Well, number one issue. That's a great question. Everybody's always looking to do more business. What can I do to drive traffic to the store? I need to build their sales. So I think that would be the number one question. As the franchisor, what are we going to do to help them?
Yeah, it's a competitive market.
Yes,
you can go a lot of places and get a burger.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
Some of them not very good, but you can still go to a lot of places to get a burger.
Right. We are very strong on the supportive side, supporting our franchisees. We're very top-heavy. Since we don't have any corporate stores, we're managing and helping them run their stores, P&Ls, marketing calls weekly. So we're very proactive. So we're very interested in getting them going.
So in my A to Z's of buying a franchise seminar this morning, a fellow wanted to make the point that if a franchisor doesn't own corporate units, that's a negative sign. Why don't they own one? It must not be a good deal. Why don't you own one?
It takes a lot of time, effort, and money to run stores on the corporate side.
Yeah.
And we would rather devote those funds, energies, and systems that we have supporting our franchisees.
Yeah.
We'd have to add a lot more people to the payroll, so to speak, if we had those
corporate stores. Yeah, and I don't believe it's a negative. In fact, I never thought of it that way. Maybe the first time I've heard that from an attendee at one of the seminars that it was a negative. I don't see it that way myself, but a lot of stores, a lot of franchisors do have company-owned units for various reasons, testing reasons, and so forth. So how about you as the franchisor? If you could solve, what's the number one problem that keeps you awake at night? If you could solve that, you'd sleep easier for sure.
Well, I think everybody would be sleepier. I mean, look, happy franchisees make a happy franchisor, and vice versa. So we work hard to keep our franchisees happy. I mean, we're working hard, whether it's co-op meetings, through our National Advisory Council meetings, regional, national. We're very proactive in contacting our franchisees.
Yeah.
We don't wait for a brush fire to turn into a forest fire.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that we tackle any issues immediately. And in some cases, and like most brands, is that if we find that somebody's really struggling, maybe it's time for them to exit. Maybe help them sell their store. Maybe help them hire a manager if they're trying to do it themselves.
Yeah,
so
sure.
there are it's a lot of effort on our side.
Yeah. So the $350,000 to open a unit, how much of that can be financed?
You're going to need a minimum of $100,000 to $125,000 liquidity, cash in the bank, a net worth of between $300,000 $350,000. SBA right now is probably going to be looking for about 25 to 30% cash injection on your side. That includes the franchise fee.
Yeah.
So you'll probably need about 80 to 90 out of your own pocket. Some skin in the game, they like to call it.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So what do you think that you've met a lot of people, I'm sure, at this show? We're a day and a half into the expo. I would guess hundreds of people have been by your booth by now.
Yes.
Looking for Wayback Burgers or looking at Wayback Burgers. What do you wish they knew more about or did better, or questions that they don't ask that you wish they did ask?
I think there's, especially for the person that's never been in the restaurant industry, there's this phenomenon about the restaurant industry that there's a gold mine at the end of the rainbow, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that, when someone walks into a crowded bar and they're sitting down with their significant other, spouse, or whatever it is, and they say, wow, we got to have one of these, or walk into one of our stores.
Right.
And our stores are that's our number one source of new prospects, is people walking in saying, hey. So you have to really educate them through the process about, and people here is that it's not pie in the sky. it does take work. You do have to get involved in local marketing. You have to get involved in your community.
Yes.
So it's just because you have 50 people sitting in your dining room and there aren't any empty tables doesn't necessarily mean that tomorrow you just take the day off. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Get up and do it all over again.
You got to do it all over again.
And I say over and over and over that franchising is the safest way for you to buy a business, but it's not for everyone.
Right.
You got to make sure you're a good fit. And the food industry is not for everyone.
No, it's
you
not.
got to be the right personality. If you are the right personality for the food industry, then you may be interested in Wayback Burgers, may be the perfect franchise for you. If so, let us know. We'll put you in touch. I'm John Hayes. I host the How to Buy a Franchise show. I blog at howtobuyafranchise.com. I'm the Titus Chair for Franchise Leadership at Palm Beach Atlantic University, West Palm Beach, Florida. Look for my forthcoming book in 2017, 12 amazing franchise opportunities. 12 different franchisors have the chance in that book. They include a chapter in my book that tells why you should become one of their franchisees. We hope that you'll look for that book. Fall of 2017. It'll be a bestseller at Amazon.com. I'm John Hayes. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for listening to How to Buy a Franchise Show. If you want immediate assistance, visit howtobuyafranchise.com to contact Dr. John Hayes for a free consultation.